class 10th CBSE. In the sequence of the types of chemical equations, the second type of chemical equation is the decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction. So this is the second type of the chemical reaction that you have to study in class 10. Now what is decomposition reaction? It is just opposite to the combination reaction. Must remember, it is just opposite to combination reaction. Just opposite to combination reaction. Now what is the combination reaction? I am going to remind you, when A combines with B, it forms AB. In combination reaction, this is reactant and this is product. Okay, I am going to change the place. I am going to change the place of the reactant and the product. If the reactant is a compound which is split up into two or more other compounds, other substances, then that reaction is called the decomposition reaction. It means a compound breaks up or splits up to form two or more substances. If in a chemical reaction this process is going on, then it is called the decomposition reaction. How we are defined to decomposition reaction? According to the definition, the reaction in which a compound breaks up or splits up into two or more substances, whether it is elements or the compound. This type of reaction is called decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction. For simplest example, in the same format that we have studied in our previous topic, AB is the reactant. It splits up to form A plus B. And this reaction is called the displacement reaction. So what is displacement reaction? Displacement reaction is a reaction in which a compound splits or splits up into two or more other fractions. And that type of reaction is called the decomposition reaction. Now, types of decomposition reaction. Actually, we are able to classify the decomposition reaction in three types. Three types, that is the condition on which this reaction depends. You have to remember first thing that it is just opposite of the combination reaction. And second, it is performed due to three reasons. Okay, it is performed due to three reasons. Or we are able to say there are three types of decomposition reaction. As I told you, decomposition reaction, the types is based on the condition that is required, that is essential for the reaction. That condition is actually defined the types of decomposition reaction. So there are three types of decomposition reaction because three reasons for the completion of the reaction. So there are three conditions. So there are three types of decomposition reaction. It is of three types. Okay. Now first type of the decomposition reaction. The first type of decomposition reaction is called the thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition. You know very well what is the meaning of decomposition. It means splitting of the substance. And what is the meaning of thermal? Thermal word is related to thermo, and thermo means heat. If the reaction is completed, if the decomposition is completed in the presence of heat, when we heat the substance, then it decomposes to form a new substance. If the heat is required for the process, then that type of the decomposition is called the thermal decomposition. So what is thermal decomposition? When decomposition process is completed in the presence of heat, then it is called thermal decomposition. Okay, one very good example of the thermal decomposition, FeSO4. It is a salt. Okay, it is a salt called the sulfate, iron sulfate. What is this? Iron sulfate. But in natural form, this sulfate contains some part of water also. That is called the water of crystalline. It contains 7 parts of water. Okay, so this is iron sulfate. This is hydrated iron sulfate, having the 7 part of the water is there. When this water is present, this is hydrated means presence of water. If when it is hydrated, the color of this salt is green. Okay, the color of this salt is green. We are going to provide the heat. We have made our equation informative by mentioning the condition here. Whatever the condition is going on, you see in the photosynthesis process, we must write here chlorophyll and the sunlight. So what is needed here? Here heat is needed. When we heat up this salt, what happened? The water which is present here, it's get evaporate. This 7 part of the water get released out. This hydrated iron sulfate get dehydrated iron sulfate. And how we are understand that it gets dehydrated? The color of the salt is seen. From the green, it becomes the dirty white in color. If the color will change, then we are able to know that a decomposition process is going on. This is a single compound and it is split up into 2 parts. So it is called the decomposition reaction, and this splitting is occur in the presence of heat only. So it is called the thermal decomposition. Now what is next? Okay, I am going to rub this leveling part only. This iron sulfate, when it gets dehydrated, reaction will not be stopped at this place. Okay, what happened? If we heated more, this iron sulfate, FeSO4, okay, we are going to heat it again, or the heat is providing continuously. What happened? It gets split up into Fe2O3, SO2 and SO3. 3 compounds are formed. One single compound is split up to form 3 compounds. This reaction is called the decomposition reaction, and it is completed in the presence of heat. So it is called the thermal decomposition. The substance which is formed here is called the ferric oxide or iron 2 oxide. This is the example for the decomposition reaction. The first ever thing is that you have to balance this chemical equation. Now see, here Fe2, here Fe is only 1. Here sulfur is only 1. Here sulfur is 2. 1, 2. What about the oxygen? 3 plus 2 plus 3. That is the 8. Okay, so we have to change the number here. I am going to write here 1, 2. What happened now? F is 2. Here F is also 2. S is 2. Here S is also 2. O 3 plus 2, 5, 3, 8. 4 2s are 8. Now this equation is balanced equation. So you have to balance the equation. When you give the example, you have to balance the equation. I am going to take one more example that is given in your textbook. That is also a very good example, and that is important too. That is the example of, that example is the lead nitrate. What is lead nitrate? PbNO3 2. This is a lead nitrate. We are going to heat it. when we heat the compound lead nitrate, it is split up or decomposed to form lead oxide, nitrogen oxide and oxygen. PbO, NO2 and O2. Now, how can we know the process is going on? Actually, what happened when this process is performed? When we heat this substance, when we provide the heat, we must notice the brown color fume. Brown color fume is of the nitrogen oxide. Our test tube is full of the brown fume. The brown fume shows that the reaction is going on. Fume is the smoke type substance. Okay, this brown fume shows that reaction is going on. This is called the lead oxide. So what happened? When we heat the lead nitrate, it decomposes to form lead oxide, nitrogen oxide and the oxygen. You have to balance the equation again. Here Pb is 1. Okay, here also it is 1. And here is 2. Here N is only 1. Okay, now what about the oxygen? O3 into 2 is 6. Oxygen is 6. You have to balance this number. First, we move towards the nitrogen only. What is the number of nitrogen here? It is 2. Where nitrogen is present here? Only here. So we must put here 2. Now what happened? When we put 1, 2 here, nitrogen is 2 here. Here nitrogen is only 1. Okay. So we have to put 1, 2 here. Okay. What happened when we put 1, 2 here? This nitrogen becomes 2. Here nitrogen is 2. It's okay. But what about the oxygen here? 2 2s are 4. 4 plus 1, 5. 5 plus 2 is 7. What is the number of oxygen here? 6. We are unable to convert the number of oxygen to 6 to 7. The minimum number we are able to add here is 2 only. If we add 2, what is the number of oxygen? 3 2s are 6. 6 2s are 12. So we have to set the number of oxygen here to 12. But notice one thing. When we put 2 here, nitrogen which is already 2, it gets 4. 2 2s are 4. So we have to, instead of writing 2, we have to write up here 4. Okay. Now what happened when the oxygen is 4? Also the lead is become 2. So we have to write 2 here also. The lead is become 2. Now check the number of oxygen. What is the number of oxygen here? 3 2s are 6. 6 2s are 12. Now here 2, 4 2s are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now reaction is the balanced chemical reaction. So this is the example of the thermal decomposition. I already told you, you have to practice a lot for balancing the chemical equation. But it is necessary when you write in the examination, you have to write only the balanced chemical equation. Otherwise, you didn't get any marks for your attention. You must also label the equation. You must write the name of the compound which is formed or which is participating in the reaction. The name of the reactant and name of the product also. Now let's move towards the second type of decomposition reaction. The second type of decomposition reaction is called electrical decomposition. Electrical decomposition. It is very much clear. Decomposition is process of splitting of the substance, and if the splitting of the substance is performed in the presence of electricity, what happened? If the decomposition or when the decomposition is performed due to the presence of electricity, it is called electrical decomposition. Electrical decomposition. Must remember what is decomposition. Decomposition is the splitting of the compound, and if the splitting process is completed in the form of electricity, then it is called the electrical decomposition. Now one of the example of the electrical decomposition you already studied in class 8. What if? When we provided electricity, it splits up to form hydrogen and oxygen. What is actually the combination of two gases, hydrogen and the oxygen? Here the number of H is 2, here also the number is 2, but here oxygen is 2, but here oxygen is only 1, so we have to put 1, 2 here. Now oxygen is 2, but hydrogen is 4, so we have to put 1, 2 here also. This is the example for the electrical decomposition. As I told you, you already studied in class 8. some experiment like this. Okay, this is the inverter jar in which two test tube is fitted with the help of the electrode. This is packed with the cork, and when the electricity is provided from here, what happened? This water is split up into the hydrogen and oxygen, and it is collected in this test tube. So this is the experiment you already performed in class 8. So this is the example for electrical decomposition. The third type of the decomposition reaction is called photochemical decomposition. Now what is the meaning of photo? Photo means light. Chemical, it means the chemical only to the process which is completed in the presence of light, that is called the photochemical process. Okay. You know very well how in previous days, in earlier days, the photographer used a technique to convert the role into the negative, and then they develop from negative to the positive. That is actually the photochemical process. The third type of the decomposition is called photochemical decomposition. Photochemical decomposition. As I told you, it is very much clear by name. Photo is for the light. Chemical is the involvement of the chemical in this process. If the process of decomposition is completed due to the presence of light, the chemical process which is performed for decomposition is because of only light, then the process is called the photochemical decomposition. When decomposition of substance occurs only in the presence of light. Actually, when we talk about the light, it is actually the sunlight. In the presence of sunlight. Okay, that is the primary source of light or only light. Then the reaction is called the photochemical reaction. Very good example of that. Silver chloride, AgCl. AgCl in the presence of sunlight. If we expose the AgCl, silver chloride, in sun, then it gets split up into silver and chlorine. Okay, in the presence of the sunlight. This is the AgCl. It is white crystalline in color. And this is the Ag, the silver, it is grey in color. So by changing the color, we are very much know the change in the presence of the silver only. This process, one more process is there. We are going to balance it further. Silver bromide in the presence of sunlight, it gets converted into silver and bromine. And this process is used in the photography. In earlier days, when the photographers used the technique to develop the negative, then they convert the negative into positive, this chemical is very much needed. I already told you we have to balance the chemical equation. Here AgCl, Cl is here 2, so we have to put 2 here. If it is 2, we have to put 2 here also. Same in this process because they are the same, nearly about the same reaction. So these are the example of the photochemical decomposition. So this is the photochemical decomposition. Decomposition very much important process because it is very useful process. Two important use of decomposition is two places where the decomposition is used widely is one in your body. The process of digestion of food. What is the process of digestion? We are going to break down the complex food into simple one. Sugar is break down into glucose and different type of glucose plus fructose plus sucrose, etc., etc. Same as the protein. Protein gets break up into primary protein, secondary protein, tertiary protein, and so on and so on. Fats also get decomposed into fatty acids and glycerol. Okay, so this is the process of decomposition. The best example of decomposition is the best application of decomposition is the digestion of food. But decomposition process is very much important for one process that is called the metallurgy. Metallurgy is the process of extraction of metal. Extraction of metal. If some topic of this is in your course, then we must discuss in any other lesson if that is in your syllabus. In previous syllabus, it is there in the syllabus, that is in the metal and non-metal. But if it is present now, we must discuss about the metallurgy or extraction of metal in any other class. So this is about the decomposition. Must remember, decomposition is just opposite of the combination reaction. This is reaction, combination reaction.